A name echoes from the mists of time. Vlad the Impaler, his name conjures images of darkness and terror. A prince of Wallachia in medieval Romania. A land in brutal struggle, his shadow stretches across centuries. A reign of fear and fire, a man of stark contrasts. Defender of his people, monster to his enemies. His story is not for the faint of heart. A past steeped in bloodshed, known as Dracula, son of the dragon, or perhaps son of the devil. A righteous warrior against the Ottoman tide, or a bloodthirsty tyrant. History paints a complex portrait, driven by a fierce will to impose order on chaos. His justice, swift and terrible, he carved his name into history, not with ink, but with blood. His impact resonates today. He became more than a historical figure. He morphed into a legend, a creature of the night, the inspiration for the most famous vampire in literature. Medieval Romania was a fractured realm, a land of deep forests and rugged mountains. Wallachia, Vlad's principality, was a small but strategic territory. It lay nestled between mighty, ambitious empires. To the south and east, the Ottoman Empire expanded relentlessly. Its shadow loomed large. To the north and west, the Kingdom of Hungary vied for influence. Wallachia was a buffer state, a pawn in a deadly game of power. Its soil was soaked with the blood of countless battles, its air thick with intrigue. The political landscape was treacherous. Loyalty was a fleeting commodity. The boyars, the land-owning nobles, held considerable power. They were a constant thorn in the side of any ruler. They plotted in shadowed halls. They formed factions. They switched allegiances when it suited their interests. The throne of Wallachia was an unstable seat. Princes rose and fell with alarming frequency. Assassination and betrayal were common tools of statecraft. To rule here required more than just noble birth. It required cunning, ruthlessness, and an unyielding will. Life for the common people was harsh. They toiled under the watchful eyes of their lords. They faced the constant threat of invasion. Vlad III was born around 1431 in the fortified town of Sighisoara. Its medieval towers still stand today, a silent witness to his tumultuous beginnings. His father was Vlad II, known as Vlad Dracul. Dracul meant the dragon. He was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a chivalric order dedicated to defending Christendom, primarily against the Ottoman Turks. This emblem of the dragon would become deeply intertwined with the family's destiny, a symbol of both valor and, in time, dread. The name Dracul also carried another connotation. In Romanian, it could also mean the devil. This ambiguity would follow Vlad throughout his life and beyond. His early years were marked by instability. His father struggled to maintain his grip on the Wallachian throne. Political alliances shifted like sand. Betrayal was an ever-present threat. Young Vlad learned quickly about the harsh realities of power. He witnessed the precariousness of life, especially for those in positions of authority. These lessons were etched deep into his young mind. A pivotal, scarring experience came in his youth. Vlad and his younger brother, Raducel Frumos, were sent as hostages to the Ottoman court of Sultan Murad II. Vlad's first taste of power was fleeting. In 1448, with Ottoman support, he briefly seized the Wallachian throne. But his enemies were many. His hold was tenuous. He was soon driven out, forced back into exile. Yet the desire to rule his homeland burned fiercely within him. He spent the next few years biding his time, gathering support, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. He would not be denied his birthright or his vengeance. His true reign began in 1456. This time he had the backing of Hungary. He marched into Wallachia, defeated his rival, and claimed the throne once more. He was no longer a boy. He was a seasoned warrior, a man hardened by loss and betrayal. He knew that to survive, he needed to be strong, to be ruthless. He was determined to crush all opposition, to bring order to his fractured land. even if that order had to be built upon a foundation of fear. One of his first acts was to deal with the treacherous boyars, those who had conspired against his father and brother. The shadow of the Ottoman Empire loomed large over Eastern Europe. It was a formidable military power led by the ambitious Sultan Mehmed II, the same sultan who had conquered Constantinople in 1453. Wallachia, like other Balkan states, was a vassal to the Ottomans. This meant paying an annual tribute, a sum of money and goods. This was a bitter pill for any proud ruler to swallow. For the first few years of his main reign, Vlad paid this tribute. He understood the might of the Ottoman war machine. He knew that open defiance was a perilous path. He needed time to consolidate his power, to strengthen his defences. But the payment of tribute chafed at his pride. He was the son of the dragon. He was not meant to bow before any foreign master. His heart yearned for true independence. The breaking point came around 1459. Vlad felt strong enough, or perhaps desperate enough. He refused to pay the annual tribute to the Sultan. He captured and impaled the Ottoman envoys sent to collect it. Some chronicles claim he had their turbans nailed to their heads. This was a calculated insult, a direct challenge to Sultan Mehmed II. Vlad's name, the Impaler, was not earned lightly. It came from his favoured method of execution, impalement, a truly horrific and agonizing death. Victims were slowly forced onto large, sharpened wooden stakes. The stake, often oiled, would be inserted into the rectum or vagina, pushed upwards through the body, carefully to avoid damaging vital organs too quickly, thus prolonging the suffering, sometimes for hours, even days. The victims were then hoisted upright, left as a gruesome spectacle. He used this terrifying punishment extensively against foreign enemies and domestic traitors alike, Turkish prisoners of war, corrupt boyars, rebellious Saxon merchants from Transylvania, common criminals. No one was safe from his wrath if they crossed him. He believed that only extreme cruelty could instill the necessary fear, the fear needed to maintain order and to deter his enemies. His justice was a public display, designed to shock and to cow all who witnessed it. News of Vlad's brutal deeds spread like wildfire across Europe. Merchants travelling the trade routes carried the stories. Monks and scholars recorded them. Particularly in the German-speaking lands, his reputation grew monstrous. Printing presses, a relatively new invention, churned out pamphlets. These were filled with lurid, sensationalized accounts of his atrocities. They depicted him as a bloodthirsty sadist, a demon in human form. These tales were often exaggerated, fueled by political animosity and a taste for the macabre. These pamphlets, known as Gräuel propaganda, atrocity propaganda, painted vivid pictures. They described Vlad dining amidst his impaled victims, dipping his bread into their blood, roasting children and forcing their mothers to eat them, boiling people alive. While some accounts may have held a kernel of truth, many were clearly designed to demonize him, to portray him as an enemy of Christendom. Despite his fierce battles against the Ottomans, despite his ferocious defense of Wallachia, Vlad's reign was doomed. The Ottoman Empire was relentless. Its resources far outstripped Wallachia's. Though he won battles, the tide turned against him. Constant warfare exhausted his land and people. His ruthless methods created powerful enemies, both at home and abroad. He walked a dangerous precipice. In 1462, facing overwhelming Ottoman forces and betrayal, Vlad fled Wallachia. He sought refuge in Hungary, hoping for assistance from King Matthias Corvinus, who had previously supported him, but Corvinus had him arrested. Vlad was imprisoned for many years, some accounts say for 12 years. His fall from power was as dramatic as his rise. The Impaler, once the terror of the Danube, was now a captive. His fangs for a time were drawn. He was eventually released and, remarkably, regained the Wallachian throne for a third and final time in late 1476, with Hungarian and Moldavian support. But his restoration was short-lived. The political landscape remained treacherous. His enemies were still numerous. Within months he was dead. Vlad the Impaler, voivode of Wallachia, remains a towering figure, looming out of the dark corridors of history. His name evokes a potent mixture of dread and fascination. Centuries have passed since his brutal reign, yet his story continues to captivate, to horrify, to inspire debate. He's a man of two faces, depending on who is telling the tale and where it is being told. This duality is central to his enduring infamy, a warrior prince, a blood-soaked tyrant. In his homeland of Romania, Vlad III is often remembered with a degree of national pride. He is seen as a fierce patriot, a strong leader who defended Wallachia against foreign invaders, particularly the formidable Ottoman Empire. His harsh methods are sometimes contextualized, explained as necessary measures in a brutal age. A time when survival demanded ruthlessness. Monuments have been erected in his honor. Streets bear his name. He is a symbol of resistance, a defender of the faith and the nation. However, in the wider world, especially in Western culture, Vlad's image is far darker. He is inextricably linked with the fictional vampire Count Dracula.